Hello Pisces, my name is Jason. Thank you for visiting my channel. This is a general tarot reading for May 2019. So it could be about love, career, any questions at the forefront of your mind. You'll know in the first couple of minutes if this is resonating for you. If it isn't, or even if it is, please go ahead and check out my readings for your moon and rising signs. I find they so often resonate much more strongly. For now, Pisces, you go into the month of May with the Nine of Swords. So perhaps you haven't been sleeping well about something. Something's been irking you. Perhaps someone said or did something which rattled your cage somehow. Now, the reason perhaps it rattled your cage is because you're feeling like you're in some kind of a cage, as though you're not in control, as though you don't have full ownership of what you feel, or maybe a job that you have where you're feeling you're not allowed to express yourself somehow or do things the way you know they should be done. So perhaps just a bit of sleeplessness there is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this will pass. Perhaps you may have to speak to someone about this. It is just a state of mind. I would just ask myself, if I were you, if you're not making more out of it than there needs to be. Okay. Whichever it is, it's you really need to release whatever it is that's bugging you here. I'm feeling it's not a major issue. It's just that it's caused you to lose a bit of sleep because you are so sensitive, Pisces. Okay, what's crossing you? You have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so is there some kind of a player in your vicinity? Perhaps a fire sign, but this person is quite charismatic, very attractive and charming. Perhaps they've charmed you to a point where you're feeling inferior somehow, or perhaps you have been played by this person. This person does have the Knight of Wands, the player energy. Really, if it's not that, I'm thinking it's someone who's said something perhaps a little insensitive toward you, and you've just taken it to heart a little bit too much. Or again, perhaps there's a relationship you're in which isn't really good for you. Perhaps you're with an incompatible element somehow. Okay. Your conscious goal. You want some recognition for something. This is the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands talks about victory, talks about moving forward, talks about bringing others with you. It talks about being noticed or having something you've done or achieved acknowledged. And perhaps that's how you're feeling at the moment. Perhaps you're feeling that you haven't got that and you're working towards getting this, but it is definitely a card of victory. And I'm feeling that you're more than capable of achieving this. If you stay out of your head and just work towards what it is in a methodical way without responding to things too emotionally. But definitely this is a card of victory, and because it's in your conscious goal, recognition. I'm feeling that you want someone to take notice of the work that you're doing, whether it's at work or in a relationship. I'm feeling you're not feeling appreciated at the moment, and you want people to take notice of you. Your unknown influence. You have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords talks about meditation, talks about reflecting on where you're at. Now, because it's unknown, an unknown influence, I'm feeling that an idea will come to you when you least expect it. When you do have some quiet time, there'll be like an epiphany, like something will just click and you'll say, oh, okay, now I get it. And it will be like that. But I'm really feeling that you need to give yourself that space to really think about where you are, where you've been, and what have you learned about yourself or about even someone else or a certain situation? Have you let someone cross your boundaries, or have you crossed your own boundaries, if that makes sense, somehow? And now you might be beating yourself up because you've done that. But again, I'm feeling though, if you start to forgive yourself in this quiet time and really make that decision to forgive yourself, and even those who may have said the wrong thing or done the wrong thing toward you, then you're going to go a long way to not just solving this immediate problem, but it'll be a more permanent kind of a realization that you have about yourself, and you'll be able to move forward and move on from those cycles or patterns that you may have developed. Okay. Your recent past, you have the Two of Swords. So you had a decision to make. It was a decision you didn't really feel ready to make, and you may have felt a little rushed. Okay. You see this person here, they have the swords crossed over their chest, saying that they're trying to protect themselves, but they're blindfolded, so they don't have all the information. There may have been some deception involved, I'm seeing, because the moon is up there, which often talks about mystery, deception, if not deception, illusion. Okay, so perhaps you had one idea about something and it wasn't really that, and you've made a decision perhaps at the spur of the moment because you're worried about that tide coming in on you and maybe sweeping you away or sweeping an opportunity away. So perhaps you've decided to take an opportunity in the past, and because you've got the Nine of Swords there, perhaps it was you're starting to regret taking that opportunity because it wasn't really the right thing for you. Again, it could be about love. It could be about something at work. You may have committed to something and gone a little bit too far and realize that you're in not so much over your head, but it just wasn't the right thing for you. And I'm really feeling that you just need to forgive yourself for this, Pisces, whatever it is. Everyone makes mistakes, big ones, small ones. Just put it down to a lesson. Okay, your approaching influence. You have the Eight of Wands. So things will be speeding up for you now. You may be getting some emails, texting. I'm feeling you may need to sign some contracts here, some agreements. There may be a lot of communications. I don't know how much time you're spending online, maybe on dating sites or something, but if it's a dating site thing, there could be a lot of different energies coming towards you, and I'm just feeling that you need to be very discerning. Okay, otherwise you might end up back into one of those patterns that I was talking about before. So it looks like there's some pretty intense communications coming, and I'm feeling that this is about online stuff or texting, electronic kind of communications. Okay, let's have a look where you are now. Yes, this is the Hermit card. Okay, so this is the talents or what you're bringing to the current situation, okay, that you're in. And so the Hermit talks about self-reflection and looking into yourself and confronting those darker parts of yourself that you're not necessarily happy with, or that you haven't really looked at before. You've sort of skirted over them, but I'm feeling that you're in the right place now to look into yourself. And I think you've done this. You've realized something about yourself, and when you acknowledge it and give it a name and then pass it off to the universe and hand it up to them, you will be a much stronger person. This ability to reflect on yourself, Pisces, and some of the characteristics you have, which are not necessarily the most pleasant, when you dealt with them and acknowledged them and either accepted them or told yourself that you're going to work on them and improve yourself, then you have some kind of a growth there. And so the Hermit card is usually followed by a much stronger strength within yourself, okay, if you use that energy the way the way you could use it, and you're in a good space to do that right now. Okay, your environment. Okay, so this is the Empress. So this is the way the world sees you, the way you're seeing the world. Okay, things are looking up there. Perhaps there's someone around you having a baby, and or generally something new starting around you. So perhaps you are starting a new business, or someone around you is starting a new business or a new creative enterprise. The Empress is quite creative. She's very feminine. Is there some business you're moving into, or some group that you're joining or you're going to be a part of, which is perhaps dominated by women, or there are a lot of women there dealing with feminine issues, feminine things? That's what I'm thinking there. Or just where there seem to be a lot of women around. Okay, yeah, like a market for women, something like that. But that seems to be where you're at the moment. Yeah, not necessarily connected to the rest of the reading here. It's just that there's something in and around you at the moment where there's a lot of female or feminine energies. Your hopes and fears. You have the Two of Cups. Okay, so perhaps there's someone you've had your eye on, and you're really feeling that you can have a relationship of equal give and take. If it's not a person, it could be like a job that you've eyed up and you've thought, well, geez, I could really see myself contributing to that and being rewarded somehow in the right way, with an equal give and take. And so, again, it's not clear whether this is a relationship or a career issue, but it's looking like there's equal give and take, and all parties are happy to be in this situation. So that's pretty nice. What a nice feeling there. And in the result, you have the Devil card. Now, I don't normally read reversals, but this one's come out in reverse, and so it's looking to me like you're releasing some kind of a fear. I talked before about that Nine of Swords energy that it had you wrapped up in the way you were seeing something, or you need to release something. And it looks like at the end of May here that you will be able to release this, and things will be feeling much more optimistic for you, and you will know it. You will feel, oh yes, I've finally dealt with that. I've finally got out of that energy. I'm feeling it's something to do with this ability now to look inside yourself with this Hermit energy and realize that you've got to get out of that fear, and you're doing that here. You're releasing something. Perhaps you're releasing a habit, a way of thinking, forgiving yourself for something that's been nagging at you, forgiving someone else, and when you do that, you're going to feel so liberated, Pisces. So look, that's what I've got for you there. Please let me know how this resonates for you in the comments, and of course like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.